Hey everybody, Lazy Gardener here. It's July 17th and we've now harvested and cured this year's crop. We have a nice bumper crop and I'm sure we're going to have leftovers for next year, but what we're going to do right now is talk about what to do with last year's leftovers, and that's what we have here. And this stuff is, you can watch the harvesting and curing video right here if you want to click on that link. But last year's garlic is at this point kind of shriveled up and a bit dehydrated. It's not premium. You're never going to want to eat this when you have something fresh like this. Rather than throw it away, what we're going to do is make this into garlic powder. And this is the most aromatic garlic powder you've ever smelled. It's much better than anything you can buy in the store. I don't know what they're selling you because this is made from dried up year-old garlic. And what we're going to do is we're just going to, because it's kind of dried out, they shuck super easy. We're going to peel them all, and then I'll be back in a few minutes and I'll show you how to grind them up, dehydrate them, and turn them into garlic powder. Be right back. Okay, we're almost done with peeling them. I'm just going to show you if anybody has trouble, maybe you're beginners, the best way to peel this with your hands. You're just going to kind of cut into the top. Remember, this is old garlic and it doesn't really matter what we do. And as soon as we get down and we can see where there's, you can see the divider in there, you just start to break them apart. Don't have to be real clean or neat about it. Again, it's not even for cooking, right? Throw away all the stuff. We're going to compost all that. We're not even going to throw that away. That'll go to next year's garden. And like I said, the garlic really comes out super easy. Very little effort. And then what we do is just cut off some of the nasty bits, and we put them in here, and that's that simple. We just, if you see any like really shriveled up ones, you can just throw it all away, and you can be liberal with what you cut off if you got plenty. But after this, let's go take a look at how we're going to grind all these up. All right, so the next step is we've got to grind this stuff down for dehydrating. I've got two different devices here that you can use, but what you're really looking is for essentially a cheese grater type grind. I find that that's pretty efficient, and that's going to help us get to where we need to be. Now, you can use this. This is a salad shooter with the cheese grater in it. Or here I have a KitchenAid, which I'm going to use just because this is a lot faster for such a large amount. I am going to grind it on high. I put the cheese grater in, and I leave this blade in there because this machine is going so fast, you really want it to use both of them. And then if there's a lot of pieces left over that are small that won't go through because this isn't like great for everything, I'll just throw them through here. And in the end, I'm going to take that, see, I'm going to take wherever they come from, and I'm going to spread them out on wax or parchment paper. Okay, so I'll just give you a quick demo of how this one works. This is so much more efficient than the salad shooter that I was using last year. And we're just going to turn it on high. You can watch how fast it can process these. And it's just, this was a great purchase, definitely worth the buy. And it's coming out at a great consistency. And if you can see over here in this bowl, just a little bit of incomplete grinding on the top, and that's okay. Since I already dirtied the salad shooter, I'm just going to shoot that through this one because that'll grind anything up. And I'll show you what we got here and how we're going to spread it out on the parchment paper. I'll clean that out in a minute. That looks beautiful. Might get a fourth tray here, and they filled already 2 trays. We're just going to flatten it out, and the flatter we make it and the thinner it is, the faster it'll dehydrate. But the fastest dehydration is not necessarily what you're looking for. You just want good dehydration, and I'm going to run it overnight, so that's not going to be much of an issue if I make it a little thicker. All right, I'm going to clean up all this equipment and finish this up, and then I'll show you how to operate the dehydrator. All right, we have all our garlic ground up. I really love that KitchenAid device. I highly recommend that for it just burned through this garlic really fast. We've pressed it out. Don't forget to use wax paper. And now I'm going to use this Excalibur dehydrator I got. I got this over 20 years ago. I use it every year. It is fantastic. This is not a sponsored video. I'm sure they're still making these. This is just a great, great unit, and it's very reliable. And what we're going to do is we're just going to load these in there. Make sure you leave at least one shelf of space between each tray, which kind of limits, in my opinion, the functionality of this, but it's great because it really does hold a lot. I could definitely get a 5th tray in here if I really needed, but even all that garlic, and I think that was something like 44 heads of garlic, bulbs of garlic. It holds it all, no problem. Now what we're going to do is put the door on. We're going to set it to 110 degrees and let it do its thing. Like I said, for 12 to 24 hours. I'll let you know at the end how much time it took me. But again, it's going to just depend on how thick or thin you put that layer on the wax paper. All right. We'll, in the next segment, we'll have it dehydrated, and then we'll grind it into powder. All right, we're back. It's about 20 hours later from when we put them in the dehydrator. I checked on them about 2 hours ago, and it was more or less ready, but I wasn't ready to make this video, so let's check on it now just to make sure we're done. The extra 2 hours, I'm sure, didn't do any harm. If you look at that, that looks fantastic. It's got like, it's very hard and dry. The smell in the air is much closer to neutral. It still has a garlic smell, but not at all like it was before. One tip here is please you don't want to do this in your house. You want to do this outside unless you love the smell of garlic really more than anything else, because it's very, very pungent in the beginning. But like I said, now closer to done, it's much more closer to neutral, and we're going to now take this outside to a setup where we're going to grind it outside, because again, we don't want to do this inside. All right, so here's my setup out here. What we have is I have any kind of coffee grinder will do. I have a burr grinder, which is really optimal. It's going to give you a really great even particle size. The problem with the burr grinder is it doesn't, it won't let me feed in any large pieces, so I'm going to use a mortar and pestle here, which you can see I put some pieces in here, and we're going to just try and get it down to a rough, small set of pieces so that it grinds really nicely. All right, and then we're going to put that in here. And we're going to put that, I put that on just a little past medium. And press that. And look at that. Just cruises through it. Now, again, you want to do this outside, just like the dehydration. In this case, it's because this dust puts off a lot of dust. But I'm going to show you how that looks. And you look at that. That is just beautiful. Really, really aromatic. And that's our finished product. What I'm going to do is I'm going to grind this all, and I'll come back one more time and just show you the final product. All right, so that only took about 20 minutes. Just a couple of points, right, is that you don't need to go here. You don't need to go crazy with the mortar and pestle, turning it into a powder. The burr grinder is going to do that for you. You just want to get it into pieces large enough to get in there. I changed it to medium because I felt like the powder was getting a little fine. And also, you don't need to do this with year-old garlic. You can do this from store-bought garlic or the ones with the cloves that are already done. That's actually the most time-consuming part, was peeling all the garlic. So if you can get rid of that, the rest of this only takes just a few minutes of your time. Let's just see how quickly this guy burns through. This is an entire tray. And you can see that smoke coming off, which is why you really want to do this outside. Shake it a little if you need to get everything into there, but that is it. That is 25% of all that garlic. This was, as I said, I think earlier in the video, 44 bulbs of garlic. And we're just going to pour that in there. And all that's left is some cleanup. And that is at least a year, if not more, of beautiful, beautiful garlic powder. Nice, fine, even grains. And I hope you found this useful. If you did, you can like and subscribe. And good luck and good gardening.